Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
3, 2, 1, here we go! Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes! Devin, welcome to another edition of the Thrivetime Show. How are you, Devin?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Now, well, I'm excited because on today's show, we're going to be talking about an exciting thing for somebody, which is determining if somebody is a good fit to work with us here.
All right.
You know, you get a paycheck every week from Make Your Life Epic.
Right.
I think my wife signs the check. How
True.
long have you been getting a check from somebody with the last name Clark?
A little over 6 years.
6 years. Okay, so
Yeah.
what we're going to do is I'm going to ask many, many people the same questions, rapid fire, because somebody out there is watching this right now, and they're trying to ask themselves, should I take a job working with Clay Clark Industries, Make Your Life Epic, etc.? Am I a good fit? Am I not a good fit? And the worst thing you could possibly do, I think, in your professional career is get a job in a culture where you don't fit.
True.
So I'm hoping that people watch this, somebody might say, I am absolutely not a fit. As a result of this, I'm not trying to sell anybody on working here. In fact, I'm trying to convince certain people to not work here. But
Right.
I'm also trying to just share kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes so people can know what it's like to work here on a daily basis. So, Devin, question number 1.
All right.
How did you first hear about, at the time you started off as a coder for Thrive 15, the online
Right.
school. How did you first hear about Thrive 15?
I first heard about Thrive 15 through a couple of friends of mine that I've been working with, and they were good friends with Arthur Greeno, and Arthur had shared the job post and said, both of my friends said, hey, you'd be a great fit for this.
And we didn't have an opening at the time.
Right.
And so you did what?
So I just kept asking and asking and asking.
And then you worked for free.
Right.
And I remember we talked one time and you said, someday I want to have a country club. You and your wife were looking at building a house.
Right.
And you are now building a house?
We're now building a house. Yeah.
And you're a yuppie, stuck-up country club member, right?
Right.
Unbelievable. It's so exciting. You're a member of the Golf Club of Oklahoma.
Right.
So I want to ask you this because somebody out there is having that thought.
Yeah.
What kind of person is not a good fit for this job?
Somebody
And
who,
quit trying to sell people on it because I don't want the wrong person taking the job.
right. Anybody who isn't willing to put in the work. So somebody who's not willing to push themselves and actually put in the work necessary to go after your goals and your dreams, and basically have enough respect for themselves to actually go after things that they want to do.
Now, after the online school was up and in orbit, I brought you over to the consulting firm, Make Your Life Epic, where you work there.
Right.
And you're asked to do a lot of different tasks during the day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over if you were thinking about working here, you got to ask yourself, do you meet the following criteria? There's 4 E's and a P. 4 E's and a P. All right. So do you meet this criteria? Do you bring great energy to the workplace? Do you energize other coworkers? I mean, are you the kind of person that brings the room down? Or are you somebody who energizes other people? Execute. Do you get stuff done? Or do you just talk about how you wanted to get it done, but you were so overwhelmed by being overwhelmed that you're now going to go form a team that's going to help you find out the cause of being overwhelmed? I mean, are you going to get something done? So do you have good energy? 2, do you energize other people? 3, do you actually get stuff done, execute? 4, do you have the edge to do the right thing, even if it's maybe not a comfortable thing? You know, like if somebody's stealing money from the workplace. I mean, Devin, I'm not asking for names, but you've been on the web team.
Right.
And you've seen some things.
Yes.
I'm not even going to speak about, I'm just going to whisper about the things.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Have you seen some really new people doing some really shady stuff on their personal work computer before we asked them to move on?
Yes.
You've seen it?
Multiple times. Yes.
So, I mean, if you're going, I'm looking for a job where I can look at adult content all day. It's probably not a spot for you. It's probably
not
not
a good
really the fit right now. It's not really what we're looking for. We're not looking for someone to watch adult content all day. That's not really a thing.
That's true.
Energy, if you got low energy, you're not a good fit.
Right.
If you yawn a lot, why is yawning a contagious potential problem?
Because it just shows that you have low energy. It shows that you aren't actually interested or passionate about anything that you're doing, and so it's just a waste of time.
Yeah. So again, if you're now, I want to ask you one final series of questions, and then we'll go to our next guest. Okay.
All right.
And no matter what you say, he's going to one up you. So
That's true.
Don't try
He's
to.
taller than me, so he's
Yeah,
allowed to.
Okay. So, talk about the shadow process, because if someone comes to an interview, first thing is you're stuck with me. You'll be meeting with me. If it goes well, then we schedule a shadow.
Right.
Why do you think I interview everyone myself, and what's the shadow like?
I think that you interview everybody yourself, so that you can actually see the people that are going to be working for you. You want to have a relationship with them, to know them a little bit, and then the shadow process is literally seeing what you would be doing on a daily basis without you actually having to commit to anything, and really just kind of being a part of what we do here without.
So you come into the office for an hour or two to see if you're a good fit.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts you want to share with a potential applicant? Because there's so many great people out there looking for jobs. Anything
Right.
else you want to share with a potential applicant?
Yeah, this is a great place to work. Like I said, if you are willing to put in the work, there are so many opportunities to grow your skill set. Whenever I first started here, I didn't have probably half of the skills that I do now, but because of just constantly being pushed to learn new things and needing to get things done to hit deadlines and stuff, it's
You
really
become kind of a WordPress master.
yeah.
Photoshop,
yeah.
WordPress.
It's
video
been pretty
editing.
crazy. Yeah.
It's if you're looking for a place to learn and earn, this is a spot for you. I encourage you to
Right.
check it out. Devin, I appreciate you for stepping away from web development, and now we'll interview our next guest here.
All right.
This guy, he plays basketball, and he's an employee for one of my clients, and he has a job at scorebasketball.com where he works mainly during the evenings. And he has to leave here in just a minute here. But he works mainly during the evenings. And our job, if you're thinking about working here, if you want to work here, our hours are this. We work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. 4 days a week. 4 days a week. Our fabulous friend here, Miss North Dakota, she's filming right now. But I mean, 4 days a week. Can people believe it's a 4 day a week thing when you tell them? No, see, yeah, people. Every time you tell somebody I work 4 days a week, no rush hour. I mean, I don't know if you know people who got the rush hour on the way to work, rush hour on the way home. None of that. And the thing about this office that's fun is that our employees are friends and our clients are friends. So it's like if you don't want to be on a friendship basis with your clients, you don't want to work here. James, I'm going to have you hop on the mic real quick because James, you're an attorney from Manhattan. And you moved from Manhattan to come join a Team America. And
right.
How would you describe the culture up in here in terms of the office decor?
Oh, in terms of the office decor, it's just so exciting, so invigorating, tells the truth, and I like it.
You moved here from Manhattan to be part of the culture.
That's right.
I'm glad you're here.
No, I'm glad I'm here, too.
When did we
Thanks.
become friends? Because you're a client, but when did we become friends? When did that happen? What day was that? Was it Tuesday?
I think so.
Was it raining?
Yeah.
It was a Tuesday.
It was over the
foggy.
phone.
But I really do
COVID
feel
brought
like
us together.
Right, but I mean, now we go to church together,
That's right.
I mean, if you're out there watching right now and you're going, did he just say the word church? This is what? Can you say that on Glassdoor? Can you say that on Indeed? Yeah, I did. So, and if you're offended by the word church, just don't apply because I'm not trying to recruit you to work here. See, that's the thing. I'm just trying to tell you what it is. JT, how did you decide that maybe you wanted to work here?
Man, I already had a job at Score Basketball doing something I really love, but I wanted to learn more. Like
Yeah.
I came here definitely not for a paycheck. I was actually, he doesn't know, but I was fully willing to work for free.
Well, I'm glad we didn't have that discussion. You're getting paid now, huh?
Yeah, I am glad we didn't have the discussion.
That's great. Hey, real quick, if you put the mic up just a little bit higher there real quick for you. Just talk right into that thing. Yeah. And so what kind of books have you read in the last month?
Oh, lots. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Great book.
E-Myth.
Michael Gerber, yeah. He's been
yes.
on the show, yeah.
Ultimate Sales Machine.
Chet Holmes. By the way, Chet Holmes is deceased, so we couldn't book him. May he rest in peace. But we did book Sharon Lecter, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What other books have you read this month? Or the last couple months?
Halfway through Grant Cardone's 10X.
That's a great book, too. We've had Grant Cardone on the Thrivetime Show. If you're watching this right now and you know these authors, you'd like it here. But if you're like, entrepreneurship, that's terrible. I used to be the guy at Target. I worked at Target. I was the worst employee in the history of Target. If they have a book where they keep track of the worst employees, I was that guy. I was the guy who would look around during the day for things not to do. Have you ever had a job like that, JT, when you were maybe a 15-year-old kind of younger idiot, when you were – did you ever have an idiot phase?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I worked at Walmart, so I did the same exact thing you did.
So customers come in and they go, "Can we help? Can you help us?" And you act like you don't hear them, and then you go to the back room.
That
was my move.
For the first month, actually first 2 months, I kept saying it's my first day so that I wouldn't have to take them to where they needed to be.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. It's such a big box. People don't know your name. But up in here, how would you describe the atmosphere? Because I think everybody knows you or knows of you. You've been here how many days?
This is my 4th day.
Okay, so how's it been so far?
It's been incredible, and the atmosphere is crazy. Once you set a lead, you go and you ring a bell, and then the office goes crazy. It's nuts. This is the thing. I've never found a workplace like this, so I built it. I always got jobs in corporate America, and I thought, I worked at Applebee's, Target, DirecTV, then I got a job in corporate America. And I was very thankful for the job, but totally quiet all day. No overhead music, completely quiet. If you said something, everyone was like, "What?" Because we had cubicles. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, "So I got this rash, and I just want to ask you privately, James, what do you think it is?" And everyone's like, What rash did you get?" Because it's all cubicles. Mm-hmm. Have you ever worked in a cubicle environment? I have not worked in a cubicle environment.
You don't know what you're missing.
Another thing about corporate America, and maybe you can to comment on this, James.
Sure.
You've been around a little bit longer, worked with a lot of corporate clients as a New York attorney.
Yep.
A lot of it's like people don't shake hands. There's no fist bumps. There's no enthusiasm. Like no one celebrates.
They don't say hi to each other when they walk, when they pass each other in the hallway and stuff like that.
I remember one job I have. No disrespect to my previous bosses. This is true though. Every Monday you go, "What's up?" I remember every Monday you walk through the front door. The secretary guy was there. And you go, "What's up?" And he's like, "What's up?" Another case of the Mondays. Everyone to go in the elevator. It's Monday. Yeah. Wednesday, hump day. Friday, almost done. Everybody hated the job. No one liked anybody. No one said anything. They all sat apart from each other during lunch. I don't get it. Mm. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about applying right now? Because I'm trying to get the wrong people. We have so many great people like you and Charisma that apply, and there's so many people that just should not be applying. And I'm trying to hopefully get that word out there. What would you say to anybody out there who's thinking about applying to work here?
You have to have the right mindset. You have to be willing to get better. Better not just in the job, but betterment in your life. Like Clay's huge on that. You can't succeed in your job. There's no work-life flow. It's all one. You have to be able to do both.
Gotta be hungry.
Now, and it's big, and I want to go through the 4 E's and a P. If you're thinking about working here, if you are thinking about working here, you got to have the 4 E's and a P. The 4 E's and a P. You got to bring great energy. The coworkers. Do you have some energetic people up in this place?
Oh, for sure. John's yelling every second of the day. He's either singing or yelling.
Our incredible videographer filming this today, we had to get her to stop yelling just to start filming this. She was just yelling all the time. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, we have a great atmosphere. People are excited. It's good people.
For sure.
Talk about the getting stuff done. Is there a sense of urgency up in this place or no, or what do you think?
Oh, I mean, I wasn't doing it before. Have never had to do it at another job, but I keep a list of my to-dos now. And I have a calendar of what I'm going to do, and I have to have it.
Let's talk about is there mostly women here, mostly men? I don't have these thoughts, but the other day somebody posted on Glassdoor that I apparently don't promote women. And I got to thinking, I think the women are in charge of everything. Because my wife does accounting, so she's my boss. We've been partnered together, married for 20 years. 20 years? Oh, crazy. 20 years since I was 20 years old. And so she's in charge of that, Like their new building, that's a woman who designed that. And then Amana's the head of Elephant in the Room, the haircut chain. She's a woman. Julia, who's like our skyrocketing coach, doing great. She runs the meetings. She's a woman. I feel like men are being discriminated against here. But how would you describe the diversity of men versus women? I
didn't even think about it until now, but I actually think there's more women here for sure than men.
Interesting. Okay, so anything else you want to share with somebody out there who's thinking about working here? Because again, we had a guy apply the other day, and I go, "This guy's the great fit." You know why? Because it was snowing everywhere. Snow. You played basketball in Canada, you get it. Snow. That's the sound of snow. Snow's everywhere. One dude shows up at the interview.
Yep.
Early. 30 minutes early.
He's from Bartlesville, too, wasn't he?
Of course he is.
An hour away?
Absolutely. I mean, Charles drove here 4.5 hours for the job interview. I'm like, that guy's going to be my guy. Even though I hadn't interviewed him, I just knew he'd be a good fit. Anything else you want to share with anybody out there who's thinking about applying to work here?
No, don't come unless you're going to have pig-headed stubbornness to get stuff done.
Okay, all right. Now we're going to get Charisma on here, and the theme of today's interview is really one-upping each other. That's no matter what you say, Charisma's going to come on here and drop some more knowledge bombs. And then Charisma, you can adjust the mic for the right height or whatever you need to do there.
I was a little shorty over here.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good. So, Charisma, how long have you been here?
I've actually been here, I want to say a year this month.
Really?
Yes.
Where were you working before you were here?
Where was I? I was in school.
Where'd you go to school at?
Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts University?
Yes.
What did you study at Oral Roberts University?
Digital communication.
Really?
Yes.
I guess that we're digitally communicating right now.
We are.
The sounds are coming through the microphone.
We really are.
Okay, so for people out there that are thinking about applying, I just want to get your take on the vibe of the office. How would you describe the vibe, the aura, the ambiance? Because, again, I mean, some people come to work because they're looking for great coworkers. Some people come because they like the mojo. Some come because they want just to get paid. I don't really know how that factors in. How would you describe the environment?
I would describe the environment as very energetic. I would say everybody who's here is wanting to be here. They're happy to be here. Everybody works hard. I think I get motivated by the people around me. I would say you come into work and you learn, which not a lot of places that you go, you're actually learning more information and growing. And that's one of the best things about working here.
And I won't be offended if we're not your favorite. If we're like in the top 30, I'm okay. But of all the jobs you've had, how does this job stack up to the other jobs you've had?
Definitely the top, for sure.
For you, sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
What other kinds of jobs have you had?
Oh, goodness. Well, I was in school up until now, so this is my first
This is your first full-time thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Really?
yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know this was your first full-time thing.
First full-time thing.
What?
Yes,
No way.
it is.
Well, now I got to do a better job. James,
Yeah.
you see people all the time that work in corporate America.
Yeah, I do.
You are an attorney who represents big-time clients.
Yeah.
You've worked on a Mike Tyson case.
Yeah, represented Don King.
Don King, the guy with the big hair, Mike Tyson's agent.
Yeah.
What's the biggest companies you've worked with?
Biggest companies I've been against: American Express, Citibank.
In Manhattan.
Yeah.
And how does this feel versus Manhattan? There's
This
somebody
is
out there
so
thinking about
energetic.
applying who lives in Manhattan right now.
Oh, well, now Manhattan has 10 to 15% occupancy of all of its buildings, the office buildings and stuff. Nobody's going into the office. Nobody. And it's crazy.
By the way, if you're watching this right now, the objects appear closer on camera. We're actually about, 47 feet apart? We're social distancing. Are we 47 feet apart?
Well, now that we're on camera, we can't hold hands during the show like we normally do.
Oh, that's a great optical illusion. It's like special effects. Look with this. We're 47 feet apart, yet we can still
Long
fist
arms.
bump. Okay. Chris, anything else you want to share? Because, again, there's somebody out there thinking about applying, and my sincere heart is I want more people like you to apply and less people not like you. Because when you do a job interview, nothing's crazier than interviewing somebody who hates you. And it's funny. It's weird because on Glassdoor, you can now rate the interview. So it's like, I didn't get a job because wait a minute. I didn't get a job because that boss that I wanted to work with sucks. That's what it is. I rate the interview poorly. It's so weird. How would you describe the interview process when you came in?
I thought it was so different. I was like, oh my goodness. So we're all in here. I was expecting to get my questions ready, but it was really great. It was quick.
How long were you here?
What was it?
For the interview?
15, 30 minutes maybe. It wasn't.
So you're like 15 to 30 minutes? And then you came and shadowed. How was your shadow?
My shadow was great. I got to see all the different departments. I went to SEO, got to shadow I shadowed Julia actually.
Oh, yeah.
And Angela whenever I got here. So I really got to see all the different things that we do here, and it just made me want to work here even more.
Well, if anybody is out there contemplating applying, what would you say to them? Final thought.
I would say if you are wanting to learn and if you're wanting to grow, definitely apply. If you have an attitude that's energetic and optimistic, then apply.
Okay, that's great. Well, we're going to have your wingmate here, your friend. You guys are like a tag team duo on the phones over there. We're going to have Allie hop on here. Now, James, again, the purpose of today's show is there's somebody out there who is an owner of a business, and you're saying, how do I build a culture of A players? How do I do that? You're somebody out there who is an A player saying, how can I find a job where I'll be appreciated? And the idea is you want to build a work environment where A players want to work, and then so you got to be a good boss. I feel like I get better, but I could get better. But you want to build an environment where people want to come to work. And then you want to hire people that want to work there.
Yeah.
But if you have a great environment and bad people, it doesn't work. If you have great people, bad environment, doesn't work. So it's the mixture of both there. What is going on? How are you?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good.
Allie, so have you had a lot of jobs in your lifetime?
Yeah, some retail jobs.
Talk to me about the retail jobs, not necessarily the specific company, but
Yeah.
just, and make sure you kind of eat that microphone there.
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
So tell me, what kind of retail jobs have you had?
Yeah, so I worked for a shoe store. I sold shoes, barely made enough money to do anything fun. I did that in high school, though, so I didn't need that much money.
By the way, did people always ask you about, like, hey, do you think this offers me enough room to grow? Did people ask you that question?
In their shoes?
In the shoe store?
No, not normally, no.
What was the most common questions you got asked in the shoe store?
Do these stretch out?
Did he stretch out?
Yeah, all the time.
And then did you have the little fancy thing that was the metal thing used to check the foot size?
Yes, and like check their size, and then if they do want to stretch out, they would give it to me for like a week, and I would put a shoe stretcher in. And
I have a crazy shoe story I'm going to share with you.
Okay.
So, but please one up me. So be thinking about the craziest shoe story you have.
Yeah.
There's a place in Tulsa by Barnes & Noble by the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I go in to buy my shoes. And I'm like an annual shoe guy. I'll go in and buy 7 white shirts, 7 red ties. I'm out. That's how I do it.
Easy.
So I'm like, I'm going to go in there, get multiple pairs of the same shoes. These were the Adidas. What's the one? It's the Run DMC ones.
Pumas?
It's like the Adidas, but they got the three stripes, but they're the shell toe. Shell toe, yes. So I go in to get these. And I'm noticing there's a tension there in the checkout line.
Yeah.
The person who's checking me out is going, and I'm like, yeah, I'd like to check out. And they're going, and it occurred to me, something's going on. True story. I turn around, dude has a gun drawn. True story.
Oh my gosh.
And they held up the store, and I'm going, And I guess something is bizarre that I sort of embrace the afterlife. So I wasn't really scared. I was more like,
ready.
Inconvenience.
this is a curious moment in America. It's interesting. And so the lady's like, you need to duck down. So we all go down. No, it's a true story. And then the guy took an insane amount of shoes, like an insane, like crazy amounts of boxes. A lot of people taking tons of boxes. And then he left. And I said, can I check out? And she says, yes. Checked out. Bought the shoes. And then I get home. My wife says, how was your day? I said, I think I was in a part of a heist. And then my wife was like, what? True stories. That's my crazy shoe story.
Was he all masked and covered and everything, or was he just in plain sight and had his? Did he ever get caught?
Well, I turned around, right? Because I turned, and the guy's like, don't look at me, don't look at me. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? So that's my shoe heist story. What crazy shoe story do you have?
Okay, nothing compared to that. Absolutely.
You have
I
a
never
good one.
experienced something like that.
You have
But,
a good shoe story.
I mean, I sold shoes to like a Cowboys MVP, his wife.
Really?
Like, yeah, I sold shoes to cool people. Like Tim Hawkins, he's a comedian. I sold shoes to his wife. Like,
how many shoes are these people? Are these people coming in, these A-list celebrities? Are they buying a pair of shoes? Are they coming in buying a lot of shoes?
Pairs. It was Christmas time, and she bought like 8 pairs of shoes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
Did she? Were you kind of like her shoe Sherpa? Were you her shoe expert?
There was multiple shoe experts. I was like the one that went and got the shoes, and then there was like 5 people surrounding her telling me what to grab.
What
for
other
her.
industry have you worked in?
I mean, I gave tours in college, so I was
Tours?
a tour guide. Yeah.
Really? College weekend?
Yeah.
I bet you were good at it, weren't you?
It was. Yeah, I was good at it.
You
It
know,
was fun.
I got hired after I got kicked out of Oral Roberts University.
Oh my gosh.
Oral Roberts University hired me to help them on their call center.
Oh, awesome.
And Jesse Pizer's hired me. It went very well. It was a good relationship. But I found out that the number one reason why people decide to go to ORU is because of College Weekend.
Yeah.
That's like the thing.
It is. It's so much fun, and that's where like they get to get plugged in and they meet current students. That's like the main thing.
Hey, by the way, if you're out there, folks, and you're wondering why I got kicked out of ORU, you can't just say that and then not clarify. I wrote a song about the school's president that he didn't like, and then he asked me. Then I got fired from the school because of that. That's how that happened. But if you're out there, pro tip: don't write a song parody about your school's president unless you're prepared to get kicked out of college. That's just something you want to write that down in your book of thoughts. Okay, so working here, how long have you been on the team here? We're always growing, always adding new great faces. How long have you been here?
Like a month and a half.
A month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm not looking for a hype man commercial because there's someone who's thinking about applying.
Yeah.
Can you comment on the atmosphere in the office?
Yeah, the atmosphere is always very light, very energetic, very positive. Most people around me come to work ready to work and ready to learn, so that's fun, and I like that. It's different.
When I had jobs in the past, I never got a chance to know my boss, and I always felt like, who is this person? And I feel like you never got a chance to talk to them unless you were in trouble. And I think under this org chart, Jonathan, who started off on the search engine team almost 7 or 8 years ago, he's now your boss or your manager. How would you describe like the level of micromanagement or lack thereof, or how would you describe that?
I've never felt micromanaged.
Okay.
In training, I feel like I got exactly what I needed, and I feel from Jonathan empowered to do my job.
Yeah.
And he checks in every once in a while, walks by, hey, Allie, how are you doing? What can we do to like help you, whatever. And so he's very intentional, I would say, with people. People go on. This is so funny. I don't understand how the world works. I really don't. I think it's because I'm 40. I don't get it. But now, like, you can apply for a job on these now hiring sites. James, you've probably seen these. You can apply for the job.
I haven't seen it in a while, but
you can apply. I'm not gonna show you the viewer what I'm talking about. But you can apply, and if you don't get the job, you can leave a review about the person that interviewed you.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So what I've been noticing recently is people that don't get hired are like, the job interview was terrible. Well, I don't want to waste your time if you're not a good fit. And if you are a good fit, I want you to invest your time. How would you describe that initial interview process and then the shadow process?
Yeah, so interview was quick. Mine was like 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a handful of us, asked a few questions, took some notes. It was easy. I liked it.
Why do you feel like we've never had this conversation. Why do you feel like I want you guys to potential candidates, job candidates, applicants to ask me questions? Why do you feel like I do that?
I think just to see if they're willing to be able to think of a question hard enough, or I guess any question, and ask you and get to know you. And I think it helps you see like what the candidate may have to offer.
When you walked in, were you thinking, what were you thinking when you first walked in?
What is about to happen? I had no idea what to expect.
How would you describe the inside decor inside here?
It's very open. There's no cubicles. It's not a traditional office setting. Very open. You can see the person sitting across from you, on your left, on your right, 10 feet away. Like,
so there's really no drama because there's not a way to have drama because there can't be rumors because we can hear you.
Exactly. Exactly. Unless you're sneaky.
Sneaky. Any other final comment you want to share with people out there? Somebody, some young guy, some old guy, some young lady, some old lady, an 84-year-old woman who wants to apply. What would you say to anybody who's thinking about working here?
I would say go for it. Why not? Apply for the job. Check it out. Come to the first interview and just see if it's something you'd be interested in, because why not try? And you're going to end up loving it.
I want to do a bonus fry question. Are you into bonus fries?
Yeah.
It's like you think you're at the end of the bag.
Oh, yeah.
And you go to throw it away and you're like,
wait, there's
one
percent extra bonus. That's the bonus fry. And there's no right or wrong way to get this. I'm just talking about the stuff you shouldn't talk about at work. I believe that Jesus is real. The Bible is real. I also believe in Israel. So I put these things up, and I don't hide from it. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I don't want to offend you. I just that's the American flags everywhere, back the blue everywhere. Can you kind of figure out what team I'm on pretty quick?
Oh yeah. Right when I walked in, I knew whose team you were on.
Okay.
It wasn't hard to figure out.
Okay. I want, if you're out there right now, you're watching and you're a member of Antifa, don't apply. Just if you're thinking, just if you're out making Molotov cocktails with your good friends on the weekends, burning down buildings in Wisconsin, please don't apply. That'd be just great for you, great for me. Allie, thank you so much for being here. You're a great American.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get Joe here. Is Joe here? Let's get Joe. And a lot of times people too, James, you see this?
Yep.
They'll post, they only hire women because they've, I guess, only met women that work
just
here.
Lies.
Or it's like,
all lies.
they only hire, this is one of my favorite online rumors that we had years ago, that I only promote minorities.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I'm like, what? And it was just at that time in the business, everybody who was a manager for the different companies happened to be a minority, which I'm not even sure what that means anymore, because I feel like the melting pot of America is such that I think there's a lot of different races and backgrounds and ethnicities everywhere. But I thought we'd get Joe on here. Now Joe, you might not be able to tell folks if you're looking at, Joe is not 21 years old.
No, he's not.
Joe, and I'm not asking for the place you worked at before the name. I'm just asking, you came from corporate America, correct?
Yes, I did.
How would you compare just the day-to-day? And I'm not saying this is better, that's better, this is worse, this is worse. I'm just saying, how would you describe corporate America versus here? Because there is somebody out there watching right now that is coming from corporate America. Well, how would you describe it?
It's a whirlwind difference. Corporate America, the structure is there, but it's not there. Here, the structure's in your face. You're held accountable. You always know where you stand, and if you don't feel like you know where you stand, all you got to do is ask.
Yeah. Now, in this office, when you first walked in, I believe your friend Kelly told you about this job, didn't he?
Actually, Kelly's coworker did, but yeah.
Okay, and so how would you describe the day-to-day atmosphere?
Oh, man, you hit the ground running, you work hard, and you get your job done.
Get the job done. Now, I'm going to read this quote to you. This is a quote. You haven't seen this quote before. You might have read it in the past, but you have zero time to prepare. I'm going to read the quote. James, I want to ask you what this quote means to you.
Okay.
And then again, no matter what you say, Joe will one-up you.
Always
so
does.
Joe, always be thinking about, how can we, it's a good way to build office culture, is one-upsmanship, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's
Keep
my
everybody on their
birthday.
feet.
Oh, really? It's your birthday? Well, it's also my birthday, but better.
Challenge
that kind.
accepted.
Okay, so here we go. So Steve Jobs once said, he wrote, a small team of A players can run circles around a giant team of B and C players.
Yeah.
I repeat, Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, the guy who started Next, the former CEO of Pixar, Toy Story. How we doing? Toy Story, right? Toy Story. Okay,
Yep.
Here we go. So he says a small team of A players can run circles around a giant team of B and C players. What does that mean to you, James?
Efficiency. That's what it means to me. The A players can be super, super efficient. They have great attitudes. They're happy to be there. They're hungry. They're working for the greater good and to better themselves. The B players and C players, they're just showing up because they need a job. They want to get out as soon as they get there, and it's a pretty negative environment when it's overwhelmingly B and C players. But the A players have everything that it takes.
I just know that I, at one point in my life, was a definite member of the C team.
Uh-huh.
And as a member of the C team at Target, this is what I would do. These are real stories, real stuff. I used to think, I wonder what the code is to make announcements on the overhead speakers.
And let me guess, you got it.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
Now, I couldn't memorize the prices. I couldn't tell you where paper towels were. I couldn't help you with any products. I couldn't tell you what. I was in the electronics section. I couldn't tell you where to find a CD back when we had CDs. I couldn't tell you the difference between any products we had. I couldn't tell you any positive benefits or the value proposition of any electronics.
How would you spend your day? What would you be doing?
Hiding from customers.
So you found the best hiding spots, and you knew the code.
This is what would happen is
for the overhead.
I got hired in the holidays, and they said it's a holiday. They were hiring, and Target at the time, Target was hiring, and they needed somebody to stock the shelves. So I'm stocking the shelves. Once I stocked the shelves, they're like, then we'd like you to do. I can't remember what they call it, but you're supposed to go, and if somebody is thinking about buying a frozen burrito or a battery, and they go, nah, I think I'll leave it here in the underwear section. That's where it should go. Or I'm thinking about buying like a basketball. No, I'll leave that over here in the hard lines. I'll leave that by the Tupperware. Yeah, I think I'm going to get a burrito. Yeah, I'll leave that by the VCRs or the DVD players. It's people leave stuff.
Yeah.
And my job was to put it back. And I realized I don't want to do that. So I would just hide from customers during the day, and I would think about how many pretzels can I eat before they'll notice? Because at the end of every shift, there was like 7 or 8 pretzels they're throwing away. I'm like, that's a travesty. So one day I'm like, I'll eat 7. I'm just going to do it. I normally get 1 a day. I'll get
Were they salted, unsalted, mustard? Nope.
soft with the little salt pieces on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, dude?
Oh yeah.
They got all that butter on there. Probably 3,000 calories per pretzel. I mean, it was unbelievable. And I was just like, I had a metabolism of like because you're 20 years old.
Gazelle.
Yeah, and so I'm like gazelle-like in metabolism. So I'm sitting there looking for pretzels and salt pellets, and I'm like a deer, like looking for a salt lick. Just. So anyway, I'm like, I'll take 7. So I did. And then my boss is like, hey, because what happens is whenever you get low, where there's 1 or 2 pretzels left, customers can sense the urgency, and they want them. If there's a lot, no one wants them. You see what I'm saying? There's kind of a psychology there. So I'm like, I just ate 7. Boss says, guys, do you know who? He does a huddle. Huddle. Guys, huddle. Huddle up. Huddle up, everybody. Somebody ate 7.
How many people? 10 people? 50 people?
There's like
75?
15 of us. Somebody ate all the pretzels, and I just want to know, we can be honest with about this, then we won't have any problems. With like salt on my shirt. I'm like because I've just been eating them all day. You know, I'm like, don't know anything about it, really. I was like, okay, Clay, do you know anything about those pretzels? No. Me? No. Well, we did see in the pretzel section a lot. Well, you know, so that's kind of what I did. And then eventually I got busted as the pretzel eater guy. But then my new move was I'm going to figure out the code for the overhead. And I'd watch him type in the numbers. Have you ever worked at a big box retail before?
No.
Have you, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a number like it's like a manager code.
Yep.
And that allows you to do refunds and make announcements and stuff.
Yep.
And you go boop, 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 and you hit the code and you attention target customers. And it occurred to me if I could make those announcements, that'd be awesome because they can't tell where you made the announcement from because you make the announcement on a phone, it can go broadcast to the whole store. So every time my boss is typing it, I'm watching him like counting cards. Like I'm like, hey boss, can you show me how that works again? You know. And then one day I got it, and I'm like, and my whole day was spent planning. What am I going to do with the code?
What do I say?
So this is what I did. Ducked down behind. It was a phone. It's a phone, a plugged-in phone. I ducked down behind the electronics section. Boop, 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 boop. Attention, target customers. We have a 4-door vehicle that's been seriously damaged. A 4-door vehicle. If you have a 4-door vehicle, urgently report to the front desk.
Just basically like everybody there.
Yeah, put it down. Everyone's like, because it's a 4-door vehicle. And I just had so many things like, attention customers, we have a MasterCard here. Someone has a MasterCard. If you have a MasterCard, report to the... And I would just like every week think about because you don't want to do it too often or they'll know it's you. That's the kind of jackassery that I would do. And you could do that in that environment because there was no accountability at that time. I'm sure Target's a great company, but that's how it was for me at the time. I was a jackass. But they needed somebody. They needed someone to stock the shelves. Joe, what do you think about this concept Steve Jobs says? A small team of A players can run circles around B and C players.
I think it makes a lot of sense. The more people you get on something, the less focus there seems to be.
Were you in the military?
I was.
I feel like most people in this office are in favor of the Constitution. Would you agree?
Amen.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Amen.
I feel like it's like the Second Amendment all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like everybody here is like very much First Amendment, Second Amendment. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
I feel super safe.
As you should.
In this environment because it's it's like having a bunch of bodyguards in the same building.
Yeah.
But how would you describe for anybody thinking about taking this job, applying? Who's a good fit? Who's a bad fit?
Highly motivated, accountable, coachable. Those are all good fits. Lazy, hide in the bathroom. You probably want to stay away.
Recently, our hires from North Dakota and New York, and our clients from New York have been great. The Manhattan clients who've come in from this region, they've worked their way in. This right here been a good fit.
Yep.
The North Dakotan videographer / sales team members have been great. Any other thoughts for somebody who came from the military background? I didn't come from the military background.
Sure.
So how would you describe for anybody who's maybe just got out of the military, thinking about working here? How would you describe that working here?
It's a family environment. Everybody gets along. Everybody kind of looks out for everybody. Like with the weather last week, people calling and checking on other coworkers. If you're looking for that camaraderie, that family bond, it's a good place.
I never want to have more than 50 people in this building, and there's a lot of reasons. I like to know everybody.
Sure.
Not like where I'm like, North Dakota, can I eat your sandwich? I'm not going to ask people, can I eat your sandwich? But I mean, it's like where I'm not going to say, Joe, hate to do this to you, but I need to know about your personal life. I mean, I don't do that, but I kind of want to be, where you know me, I know you.
Yep.
How would you describe that? Because I have worked in businesses before starting my own businesses, where you never knew the boss. How would you describe that?
Well, you did give me a hug earlier.
It was the first 3 minutes of that hug were awkward. But then after that, the next 45 minutes, we jumped into an oasis of positivity.
It was great. Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about working in that kind of environment, this place probably isn't for you, where, your boss asks you, any wins this weekend? How was your weekend? Then it's probably not the right place for you. But, if you're looking for a positive atmosphere where people genuinely care, Thrive's the place for you.
Now, have you guys heard about the crime scene cleanup franchise? Have you heard about this?
No.
Dude, this is a real thing. Crime scene cleanup franchise. I'm going to pull this up on the big screen, so James, so you can see this. This is a true deal. It's a real company. It's called Bio1 Inc. Bio1 Inc. And it's what they do. This is the company. They, as a career, this is what you do. If you work there for Bio1, you are literally going to clean up crime scenes as a career. So let me just show you some examples real quick. The services they offer. James, I'm pulling them up right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm with you.
Suicide cleanup.
Wow. That's right there. I see it.
Blood spill cleanup.
Yep.
Hoarding cleanup. Odor removal.
Wow. You got the crime scene cleanup here, too. Decomposition. Undiscovered death.
And this is crazy because some people, when they apply, I say, what do you do for a living? I've heard it all. But we have one young lady who's a great member of the team. She says, I work at a prison. And I'm like, try to go with the prison jokes. It's maybe too soon. But I'm like, so do you ever have a shiv? Right? I mean, he goes, I don't have a lot of prison jokes. Like, do you ever get shanked? Do you ever? And she's like, well, yeah, I see that all the time. I'm like, too soon. I mean, it's
awkward.
But I mean, think about that. Somebody out there right now, you're thinking about taking this job, and you're working in a prison for $14 an hour.
Yeah.
Where people are trying to stab each other in the shower. I mean, how would you describe this? Compare this to other jobs you've had. You've had a lot of jobs, a lot of careers. You've done a lot of things throughout the. You did the military. You've done corporate America. You've worked in a retail store. How would you describe?
It's a new day every day. You're not constantly doing the same thing. Like I said, if you're highly motivated and you want to be held accountable by your peers, this is a great place to be.
Now, our next guest we're going to bring on here, his name is Brian, and Brian's also a former. He's a retired military guy.
He's short.
Did you say that? That could offend somebody. What if we were watching this right now and you are shorter than the average height? Someone might think, see, they only hire people that are shorter than the average height. See, you're starting to create these.
Oh, okay.
I'm serious. These online job review sites are killing me.
It's a military thing.
Is it a military thing?
Yeah.
It's an inside joke?
Yep.
So it's like okay to laugh?
Yeah.
All right,
He laughed.
okay.
I saw him laugh.
So, but seriously, Brian, I'll say this about Brian. He's a former military guy, and I haven't hired anybody by the name of Brian.
Ever?
It's been a while. I mean, it's been back in the day. We had a bunch of DJs, disc jockeys, with my first company I started called DJConnection.com. We had a lot of Brians. It was like everybody's name was everyone. There was a time in American history where every girl in middle school, her name was Amanda or Ashley, and every child, their name was Brian or John.
Jack was a big one, too.
Jack?
Yeah.
That was a big thing?
Yeah.
That's jacked.
That's like 10 years ago.
Really? Was that a lot? Really?
Yeah.
I think everyone now.
We met like 3 kids on the beach one
I
time.
thought there's a
They're all
lot
named
of
Jack.
Madisons. I thought there's a lot of Skylers.
Okay.
I'm hearing that. But everybody was named Amanda back in the day. Remember that? Everyone was Amanda,
remember
Brian, John, Ashley.
Yeah.
Everyone had big bangs. Their hair was. You'd poke a hole in the ozone with the aerosol. You just get that up big buttons on your jean jacket.
This is 80s or 90s? What is this?
It's back in the day. It's when people would call you on long distance and you would hang. I got to take this call.
Yeah,
it's long distance. It's like when Blockbuster was a thing. You'd go to this might be. Folks, listen. You back in the day, if you can believe this, you could plug a phone into the wall,
And then the dial.
you would dial it, and then you would go to Blockbuster to get a movie, and you had to reserve that stuff because if you wanted to get Terminator 2, they didn't have it unless you reserved it.
And you remember when call waiting first came out? Because before call waiting, you call somebody, and if they were on the phone,
Yep.
you get a busy signal and couldn't get in touch with
That
them.
was a huge technology. And
Yeah.
then we had 4 candy bars for $1. You could get 4 candy bars for $1. And that was a thing. This was a thing.
Yeah.
And people used to let their kids go outside.
Without a helmet.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people named Brian back in the day without a helmet. Okay, so Brian, how long have you worked here? Where'd you come from? Tell us your story.
So I've worked here for just over 4 months, maybe like 4 months and a week.
And you're on the Make Your Life Epic team. I believe you started off doing search engine optimization.
Correct.
And then you got promoted to what?
Right now I'm doing calls.
But you also are a handy guy. You
Yes.
can fix stuff, right?
Yes.
So you've become sort of like the repairman for the office too,
Correct.
which is a very needed skill. If stuff goes down, I want to bunker up with this guy.
All right.
This guy can fix anything. This guy, I'm like Gilligan. I could take a nuclear reactor and turn it into rubble. This guy could take a paper clip and a stick of gum and turn it into a nuclear reactor. This is my kind of guy.
Well,
He's the professor of the office. How would you describe this atmosphere versus other jobs you've had in the past?
So in the past, I've worked in both the military and corporate America, so it's definitely a lot more different. It's a lot, I would say, I wouldn't really say laid back, but I would say it's more kind of friendly. It's definitely more people like actually care about you. Whereas in the military and corporate America, I kind of felt like just a number. Here, you kind of feel like actually part of a team. And then you can actually, count on everyone else to do their part. Whereas in corporate America or in the military, people would try to slack off all the time and such like that.
Now, this is a merit-based pay environment.
Correct.
Which means that you could theoretically make minimum wage if you did a bad job every day.
Correct.
You can also make really good pay. I mean, so like on the search engine team, I know Yvette has been doing a phenomenal job. And she's at the upper end of the pay scale. She's really getting it done. How would you describe working in an environment where merit-based pay exists?
I actually like it a lot better, especially since I want to do business. It's kind of similar to an actual business, like owning a business, because you're going to get paid what you worked for. So you can't, use an excuse of, oh, so-and-so didn't do their part when it's all based on you. So the harder you work, the more you're going to get paid. If you don't work hard, you slack off, you're not going to get paid.
I feel like there are jobs where you can slack off and still get paid. Mm-hmm. Have you had a job like that in the past? And I'm not looking for the name of the company, but have you had that kind of job before?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a slacker, so I never did anything, but I saw a lot of people that would do less than bare minimum and they get by.
So final questions I have for you. Mm-hmm. Who would not be a good fit to work here and who would be a good fit?
So I would say anyone who wouldn't be a good fit would be someone that's kind of, lazy. They don't want to do anything more than bare minimum. Someone that isn't just not a team player. You don't want those kind of people around. Good fit would definitely be someone who's motivates themselves, wakes up early, gets to work with a good attitude, and does what they're asked for and then some.
Anything you'd like to share with the people out there that are contemplating applying to work here, that you would say, don't apply if this, you should apply if this?
So I would apply if you want somewhere that you're actually going to feel like you're enjoying every single day, because I truly enjoy coming to work every single day. I've had jobs where I'm like, well, it's Monday and I have to wait an entire week before the weekend again. Here, I actually enjoy coming to work and getting things done.
Can't wait for the weekend to be over.
Yeah, honestly. And then I would say for someone who shouldn't apply, probably someone that's just like that's just constantly thinking about the weekend and doesn't want to do anything.
James?
Yes.
You come from Manhattan. You come from New York. You've become friends with a lot of people up in the office.
Correct.
I'll give you the final word, my friend. What do you want to share with anybody out there thinking about applying to come work here with me at the mothership?
There's no place like it on the planet.
You believe that?
Yeah. In a very, very positive way. The energy is very, very high. The opportunity, there's no limit. You want to write your own ticket, you do that. At least that's been my experience here over the past, I guess it was about, what is it now, 7 or 8 months since July, and it's now February.
I do want to get your thoughts on this. Andrew is a 22-year-old guy that works here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to share on this show how much money he makes per year, but I want to. I'm not going to. I want to. Pardon me. But he's doing great.
Yeah.
And Andrew is a guy who's.
He's my coach too.
And I've worked with him for years. I hired him when he was 18, 19 years old. Now he knows search engines, web development. He knows all the Adobe products, Photoshop, Lightroom, videography. Just done great for himself. Is that amazing to you?
It is, and I had to get over.
He has 3 properties he bought. I mean,
yeah,
what?
And I had to get over that when I first was introduced to him. I was 47, and he's my business coach at 22 or 21, and now I'm 48, and he's 22. But
he does a great job. Hey, Brian, do me a favor. Can you trick Amelia into being on the show here? We need to trick. Is that Amelia? Is she coming by? That she's coming by. Yes. No show's complete without Amelia. Can we get you on here real quick here? Just real quick. I realize I put you in a bad spot by even asking on a live show. No, I want Yvette on here. This is big. We're talking about, people go on Glassdoor and on Deed, and they're thinking about applying to work here. And when they do, I just don't want to waste anybody's time who's not a good fit. And I also want to make sure that the right people do apply. And I just wanted to get your take. Amelia, how long have you worked here?
I have worked here for just over 2 years.
How's that free-range baby of yours doing?
Oh, she's great. She's perfect.
And it's so fun to see you because you guys have really, you and your husband work here together.
Mm-hmm.
And the word nepotism is a word, nepotism. I want to throw up the word nepotism. Nepotism, a practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. So if you read enough reviews about working here, you're going to hear nepotism. Nepotism, that's the word you're going to see. Nepotism, that's the word. You want to highlight it, find it. And so I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Freak out if you want to.
Okay.
Who works in this office that's related to me? Nepotism.
Do we count your wife?
So my wife, yes. Yes, we
So-
do.
So one?
One.
Grand total.
One?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people that work in this office are you related to nepotism?
2 at 1.3.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Your husband was doing a phenomenal job, does a phenomenal job on the search engine team.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, my wife should work there. Work here. And I'm going, no. I told him, I said, don't refer your wife, because if it goes bad and I fire your wife, it's going to get weird at home, in the office. Just no. So do not bring her to the office unless she's a great fit. But if she's a great fit, please bring her to the office. And then you are the fastest person to ever get promoted. Now, I've been self-employed for 24 years. So I've hired a lot of people, thousands.
Yeah.
You are the fastest to get promoted that I know of. You went from entry level all the way up to the top level within how many months?
4.5.
I always say 6 or 7 months to keep you humble.
That's right.
But really, it's 4.5 months.
Uh-huh.
And during that 4.5 months, which you keep track of, which is good, by the way, that you got your real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
You learned consulting, search engine, sales, management. Done a phenomenal job. Let's talk about nepotism.
All right.
Is there nepotism here? I mean, how does that work? Like, how do you and your husband and then your sister work here? How does that happen?
Well, not to toot our own horns, we were all really good fits for this office. So we came in, we went through the same process that everybody else has to go through. We went through the shadow process, the interview, and you decided we were a good fit. So
now you happen to be a female, which is so funny because I keep seeing on Glassdoor and Indeed people are saying he only promotes females. He's a misogynist. Now I'm trying to the definitions. I'm having a hard time with this. So let me look up misogynist. Let me find that word, misogynist. I don't say that very much, but I'm talking about miso, M-I-S-O, gynist, G-Y-N-I-S-T. So the person who dislikes, despises, or is strongly prejudiced against women. Let's talk about it. Are there more women that work here or men in your mind? Or is it the same or what?
there's more women.
The head of Elephant in the Room, the men's grooming lounge, one of my businesses, man or woman?
Woman.
Who does the payroll for Elephant in the Room?
Me.
Interesting.
Wow. And you're a woman too, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want to, I'm trying to make sure the folks out there who are thinking about applying for the job, they can hear from so who's a good fit and who's not? Because I know when somebody, it's not a good fit, their feelings get hurt. And so they go online and they use the word misogynist or they throw out the word cult, because when you throw out cult and misogynist, what it does is it has some traction to it.
Yeah.
It's like
Buzzwords.
Buzzwords, you know? So I have been, we talked about it earlier, but I have been called a racist before because I only had non-white managers at Elephant in the Room. So, I mean, I've seen it all. So I just want to get your take. Who's a good fit, who's not? Because I don't want anybody to apply for a job and then not like it and then say, this wasn't a good fit. I just would rather not waste anyone's time.
Yeah. Yeah. So people that are going to be a good fit are people that are willing to work hard, that want to be pushed, that want to learn, that don't just want to like come in, show up, clock out, get a paycheck, that want like growth opportunities, because you will get pushed here and you can learn as much or as little as you want. So
now, you got promoted the fastest we've ever had, but then you said, hey, I would like to work a little bit less, focus on my baby, my family, which is so cool. Mm-hmm. And somebody recently pulled me aside about 6 months ago and said, why does this person get to stay home, 4 days a week, and this person, and I have to work 4 days a week? Mm-hmm. They only work 3, and I work 4.
Yeah.
And I said to this person, I said, hey, Amelia gets all the work done that most people would do in 5 days in 3. And she does a great job. And she's been promoted the fastest. How would you respond to that we treat people unfairly. What are your thoughts on this? We don't treat everyone the same.
I think you treat people fairly, but you treat the person particular to the person. It's not like a blanket. You give everybody the same thing. Like, you have to earn it.
And I'm sure you have members of your extended family that would not be a good fit and some that would be a good fit. So whether they're related to you or not, who's not a good fit for this office?
People that like to sleep in. People
We start at 7 a.m.
Yep, we start at 7 a.m. So if you like to sleep until 9, that's probably not a great.
Probably not a move.
Yeah, if you like to call out sick a lot, sick to go to.
Those are air quotes.
Yep, those are air quotes. Not a good fit for you. If you don't like working with overhead music, if you don't like high energy, not a good fit.
And doesn't mean you're a bad person, just a bad
it's
fit
just
for the business itself, right?
Yeah.
Any final thoughts you want to share with somebody who's thinking about applying to work here?
If you like to learn, this is a place for you. So I dropped out of college when I got here, and I learned more shadowing clay in 4 months than the entirety of all of my college career. And you can learn as much as you want to. There's always different avenues to grow in, but you have to go after it. It's not going to be spoon-fed to you.
Love that. Not spoon-fed.
So if somebody says, "Hey, Clay, what are you going to do for me during the interview process?" Is that a good fit here?
Not a good fit.
Okay.
Also, if you're a member of Antifa, don't apply. Okay, our next guest is an incredible lady. This lady, she has been on our team for quite a while and does a phenomenal job on the search engine team and is writing a new book. I'm so excited about her new book. Yvette, just make sure you eat that microphone. How did you first hear about this job?
Well, I actually was invited to a business conference in 2018, and I came, and it was just an amazing atmosphere. I mean, you talked about success and how you can reach your goals and dream big, and I was like, I want this in my life.
So you applied, you came to a conference.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I came to the December 2018 business conference.
So cool. Now, again, you work in this environment. How would you describe, is it mostly women who work here, mostly men? How do you describe that atmosphere?
Yes, it is mostly women that work here, but I feel like it's still diverse. It's just a positive atmosphere. We all work together. It's really cool. Like, you got friendships, you can build friendships. You got people with like values, it's really great. And
you're kind of unique because you started off on the search engine team, then got promoted to the management side, did a phenomenal job there. And then I think you wanted to come back in the office, I think. Or you like it in the office? Or I don't really know the whole story, but I mean, do you like it in the office? Did you like working in the stores more? Or?
Well, yes, I did. I like it in the office. I like the atmosphere and just being able to write. I like SEO. I have a writing background, so I enjoy doing that.
For anybody out there who's thinking about applying to work here, who should work here, who should not? Who should apply, who should not?
Someone that is ready to, who has drive, that's very ambitious, that's ready to learn, doesn't mind accountability. That's so important because you are held accountable here for the work that you do, which is great.
Yeah.
And someone who should not apply is someone who shows up late and who has a negative attitude and who just doesn't like to get work done.
Oof. Have you ever worked in an environment, I'm not asking for the name of the company, but have you ever worked in an environment where the atmosphere was negative?
Yes. Oh, yes.
What kind of things make it negative?
Just bad attitudes and just a lack of teamwork.
See, that's why to me, like, I love the office environment. To me, it's like I love my house and I love my office environment. Going out to dinner, though, is a highly stressful thing for me.
Yeah, having on Sunday.
I don't understand why you guys like going out to dinner. I don't get it.
All right.
Because it's like rolling the dice. It's like, is this waiter going to be sarcastic? What percentage of the time where you have a bad experience with the hostess, the waiter? Is it a third of the time?
Well, the place that we went on Sunday.
Yes, we won't mention the name.
After church, right? We're not going to mention the name. They have never got my order right ever.
So why are we going? I don't get it. What is the appeal?
Well, there are places that do get it right. I go for the company as well. I mean, we had a good group of people.
Yeah,
there.
we did. We had a good group of people.
Food was good, and I don't know. For me, it's an adventure. I grew up that way. You didn't, and it's just a.
Maybe I'm just going to keep going every Sunday with you until I like it. Maybe that's what I have to do. Okay, Yvette, any final thoughts for anybody who's thinking about applying to work here? Any final thoughts that you want to share?
If you're ready to grow and just dream bigger, I would say definitely apply. I've been able to just set bigger goals here and just see myself doing more than I ever thought I could possibly do myself. So just definitely apply if you're ready just to dream bigger and do great things.
Now we're going to bring on D. Tucker. Now, D. Tucker, he is a graphic designer. And this guy, I have known this guy. D, I've known you since before any of the salt had entered into the pepper.
That is true. That is true.
How long have I known you?
It's got to be going on 10 years now.
10 years, brother. What?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was 30?
I guess so.
Well, if you're 40 now, yeah.
Math. We do math here. Okay. No, but so, I mean, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
And you've seen people who come in and you go, it's not going to work out. Yeah, you don't say it.
No.
Because you watch it.
Yeah.
You'll mention stuff if you need to.
Yeah.
Who's a good fit, who's not? 10 years, you're a lead designer, you do a great job. Who's a good fit, who's not?
I would just say, if you're more concerned about like promotion over learning, this is not going to be a good fit. I think if you're really easily offended, this is not going to be a good fit for you.
I feel like every day, if I don't do it, someone else does. There's a moment where everyone goes, "Oh snap!"
Right.
I mean, isn't that real?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think that's what's going on. I think this office is it's like we all want. Everybody always talks about, I just wish I could be real. You always hear people say, "I don't want to be fake."
Yeah.
But when you're real, people have real stuff they're dealing with.
I don't understand the context, though. What is the oh snap moment? What is that?
It'll be like, example, there'll be one young guy who on our team, I try to do it in private, but they'll say, hey, I'm looking to buy a house and my credit score is 420. And I'll say, well, let's talk. So we talk privately. And they'll go back, talk to their coworker, and they say, he said the reason why I have 420 is because I'm terrible at paying bills on time. And then the person next to him goes, because you are bad at paying bills the next time, paying bills on time. I feel like there's those kind of things.
Yeah.
Or I feel like our Monday morning meetings, sometimes people ask questions about what books do I read, and maybe I'll have a notable quotable, like rich people have big libraries, poor people have big TVs.
Yeah.
And I'll see someone write that down, and the person next to him is like, you just bought a massive TV again, and you've never read a book. I mean, there's just those moments where you're like, oh, too soon. Oh, I mean.
Yeah.
I think it's just that environment. And I just don't want the wrong person to apply is where my heart is on this show today.
Sure.
And for any business owners out there listening to the show, you might say, how do I build a good team? One person at a time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You hire A players. You replace. It's like a garden. You pull the weeds.
Yeah.
How many people have been on the graphic design team around you that are not here anymore? As a number. Just a cold number. I'm not looking for names. Just in 10 years.
I can think of 6. 5.
That's
6.
the devil's number. Think of another one.
5.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Down to 5.
But I mean, it's not because they're bad people. They just weren't a good fit.
No. Yeah.
So we hit deadlines. You got to bring great energy.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this because this is the thing. I mentioned it to the earlier folks, and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
You remember when you were in the 80s?
Yeah. I remember the 80s.
Do you remember the 90s?
I remember the 90s.
I remember I applied at a job at the Norseman.
Okay.
The Norseman was a golf course, a solid B- restaurant in the town I grew up in, Cokato, Minnesota, on the golf course, public golf course. And I got a job there. I applied. And I didn't go. I applied. I didn't get the job. So I went to a lady I knew. I think her name was Lori. And Lori was 2 years older than me. So she was like a senior and I was a sophomore. And I go, Lori, I didn't get the job. And she's like, because you don't have any other jobs. Like you don't have any references. So you got to get some of the references. So Lori helped me, introduced me to the manager. I'm working there.
What was the position for? What position was it?
Dishwasher and a bus boy. And then one day she says, you're going to get fired. And I was like, why am I going to get fired? And she says, because you're doing what you do. Stop it. You're going to get fired. And so I get fired. My family could tell I was fired because I get home from work early.
A lot early.
Mom, Dad. I don't remember all the conversations. There was a lot of like, what are you doing home early? And there's a lot of, well, I quit. Because you get into that.
Yeah.
You can't tell people you got fired.
No.
I mean, you should, but there's a lot of like,
that ego kicks in.
I quit. They didn't fire me because I was too efficient. I was too diligent. I was the hardest working, best bus boy. I was a billionaire bus boy. I was gonna make billions bussing tables. I mean, I was the golden baby. Because when you get frustrated, you start to say things that don't make sense.
Right.
I was the golden baby. And your dad's like, golden baby? Like this, I was like, I was the golden baby, the $1 billion bus boy, and I want to go down to the basement. And they're like, I think our son just said he's the $1 billion baby and the golden boy of the. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Now people do that crap on Glassdoor.
Yeah.
Now someone gets fired, and they're like, I was the golden baby. And only the misogyny of the hiring process kept me away.
The bureaucracy.
And the lack of diversity. The lead designer's black, and I'm not. I'm serious. I see that. We had a guy who did not get promoted to be the manager of Elephant in the Room because he was terrible. He couldn't manage himself. This guy couldn't manage the ability to drive to work on time. He couldn't manage anything.
Man.
Can't manage a steering wheel. Couldn't manage himself. Couldn't get to work on time. True story. He doesn't get promoted. He says, the reason why this is what he says. He files unemployment, which is, everyone can do that. It's interesting. He files unemployment, and he says, no diversity up there. It's only non-white managers. Now, at that time, that just happened to be the case.
Right.
You remember Daisy was here. She currently still is Hispanic. But we had everybody working in a manager position was not white.
Right.
And you've been here a long time.
Yeah.
Have I ever said, let's get only non-white people in management positions?
I've never heard that.
Why do some people do that, though? Why do some people, when they don't get promoted, why do they now throw out anonymous reviews like, oh, man, because in the 80s you couldn't do that. Now it's like, it's misogynist, it's a cult, it's racist.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. Another thought. I have a man cave. I'm a married man.
Yeah.
Why don't I invite women to the man cave?
Because it's inappropriate.
Yes. If anybody listening to this, if you are a female and I invite you to my man cave, please taser me, call the cops, arrest me, do whatever needs to happen, because that's a dumb thing for a guy to do who's married.
Right.
Dumb. Dumb. You're just old school. I'm just telling you. I don't want that. I don't want anyone saying anything. No.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the anonymous review culture where you get fired, you can now leave a review? Because back in the day, I was just yelling in my basement, making stuff up that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, you're full of crap.
I think it's par for the course. I mean, the way everybody is, they don't want accountability. They don't want,
bingo.
It's always somebody else. It's never you. That's just kind of par for the course. And that's kind of their fish in water in that atmosphere.
Unbelievable.
Who they are. And
Final question. Let's talk about diversity. Why is there more women here than men? What's going on? Is that your thing? Is that your fault? Is that your fault?
It was not my fault.
I'm blaming you. You're the lead designer.
It was not me. I don't know why.
See, but none of us have that thought. We don't care.
Yeah.
But again, if you're thinking about applying today, capstone thought, bring energy, be somebody who can energize other people, execute, get your job done, bring the edge, make the tough call, and have a passion for your life. 4 E's and a P. If you got energy, you can energize other people. You got the edge to make the tough call. You've got this ability to execute, to get stuff done. When I say execute, I don't mean execute. I mean, if you're like, oh, I used to euthanize chickens back. No, that's not the kind of person. That's not what we are looking for, although that is a certain skill set needed in North Dakota. But passion. You have a passion for life. And if you think Adam Sandler video movies are kind of ridiculous, but you kind of laugh, you're a good fit. Because working here is like watching the movie Braveheart, and at the end, the penguin from Billy Madison shows up. That's kind of how I would describe the atmosphere up here. Have you ever seen Billy Madison?
I don't know. Nothing's coming.
You haven't seen that?
I don't know.
Really? You haven't seen it?
I don't know that I've. Is that the
he's a golfer, isn't he?
Golf with a hockey stick?
No, this is Billy Madison. This is a story, yet another Adam Sandler movie about a guy who's in his 30s, whose brain doesn't work, who's lazy, who's going after, she's trying to get the girl. You haven't seen this?
I don't know.
Dude,
I
I
don't think so.
So, might have made a poor hiring decision. Might have. Okay, let me cue it up here real quick. It's probably going to play a commercial or something. In editing, we can fix this. But D, watch this real quick. This is good.
Okay.
So what happens is Adam Sandler, believes that his girlfriend is cheating on him with a penguin, but he only believes this when he's drunk. And he's drunk all the time, and that's the problem. And she doesn't like him because he's a impossible drunk. But let me hit play here. Let me hit play.
I see what's going on in here. So sorry to interrupt.
What does that scene do for you, D? What does that do?
I don't know.
Okay, let me show you one more clip. You didn't respond the way you need to. You might not be a good fit. Okay, let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me get it. This is the final. You haven't seen this movie?
I have not seen this movie.
This is a foundational movie that has forever changed a lot.
Okay.
Can't really define anything that's changed, but let me hit play. Okay, let me get it. I'm going to cue it up here. Okay, let me get it. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me pause it. Backing it up here. And our video editor, this will be her first big project that she's doing on her own. So she's got to mix in all the video clips. Okay. Can she do it? I don't know. A lot of pressure. Stay on target. Here we go.
Shampoo is better. I go on first and clean the hair. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? Really? Stop looking at me, Swan.
That doesn't work. That doesn't work for you at all. That doesn't do.
You know, I see.
No, you see. And let me show you one more. Stop it. I'll show you one more clip, and then we're done. This is Billy Madison. Very important. I don't know why we haven't covered this in previous meetings. Okay, so this is Billy Madison. This is powerful. Okay, this is Billy Madison. His father is impossibly rich, and he is a trust fund baby. And he is at a very, very important lunch meeting, and this is how he behaves. And his dad's a little frustrated with him because he won't take his life seriously. So here we go. Well, let me play another clip. Maybe it'll work out.
SEO.
Okay, this is a commercial.
Advertising.
Okay.
Social
We are not
media,
endorsed by this
content,
company. Okay, here we go. So he shows up. He's always a little bit drunk. They're all in suits. He's slurping on the soup.
Hey, Carl, what's up?
Nothing much, Billy. I see you got all the sun today.
Oh, yeah, you think
call
so? I fell asleep by the pool for a few hours.
Did you fall asleep or did you pass out?
Shut up!
That doesn't work for you?
A little bit. I might have some moments if I watch this show.
You what's your favorite show? You judge her? You don't like this movie? What's your favorite show? What do you watch? What's your show? Tell me the show. Tell me.
Just a show.
A favorite movie? Just guy
I
doesn't
love
like
Gladiator.
This movie's. If you watch all the way to the end, it's just like Gladiator.
Good Deeds. I like Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds,
yeah,
you like that?
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. Well, that's what it's like to work here. That's who should work here. That's who shouldn't work here. Madison has to edit this, equalize the volume, add in video clips. Hopefully we've explained who's a good fit. Maybe you've met some of the teammates. And without any further ado, James, we're going to end this show with the boom.
All right.
And these mics are hot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.